Hello and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is the 26th of October and it's going to be a good day. So I know normally we do our live streams at 10 a.m. but today we're starting at 10:40. So it's a little bit later and it's going to be a little bit shorter. There's a good reason for that, which I will talk about in just a second. But first, I'm going to share this link everywhere so you guys have access to the live stream. And yeah, we'll just get going. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you guys tuning in. Good to see everybody taking a little time on this fine Saturday to learn and talk about crypto, our favorite thing in the world. Something that's going to do a lot of big things for a lot of people. And I believe that a lot of people are going to have their lives changed. Not only financially, but this technology is going to do a lot of good for the world. So I'm pretty excited about the future of crypto. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. Let's actually start with Ethereum. I was going to start on Bitcoin, but I really think we should talk a little bit about Ethereum today. A lot of people kind of panicked when ETC or ETH/BTC, the Ethereum Bitcoin pair, started dropping. So I want to talk a little bit about the opportunity here on Ethereum and kind of what's happening with this market. So let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit and take a look at Ethereum. So you can see that this is when the ETF got approved for Ethereum right here. We had this big spike. A lot of people thought it was just going to break out through resistance. But you got to remember that when everybody is super excited and they all think it's going to moon, a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times the market does pull back. So you can see that the market did pull back all the way down to about 2,100 per Ethereum. But this was all completely normal. This is all part of a bigger correction or a bigger structure in the market. We had an ABC correction down, completely normal. This is how markets move. You know, when you have bullish impulse waves up and you have an increase in value, at some point you're going to have a healthy correction. And depending on the structure in the market, whether the market is super parabolic and super vertical, or whether it's just, sort of parabolic and sort of vertical, a lot of that will depend on how deep that correction is. If the market was super, super volatile, super vertical, and super parabolic, then you're gonna get a more extended correction because of that. If the market was less parabolic, if it was kind of more sustainable, then you're going to get a more healthy correction most of the time because of that. So that's what we see here with Ethereum. I believe Ethereum is going to do big things this cycle. Obviously, as you guys know, I've been very, very direct about how I believe that Solana is going to continue to outperform Ethereum and continue to outperform Bitcoin. But I still believe Ethereum is going to do a huge percentage gain this cycle. So I'm not anti-Ethereum. I'm just pro charts. And if we go over to the Solana Ethereum chart, for example, you can see why I tell people, hey, I have no problem with you investing in Ethereum, but charts don't lie, and Solana outperforms Ethereum. It outperforms Bitcoin. I mean, look at Solana BTC, right? People don't want to hear this. They want to just hear, my Ethereums. I love my Ethereums. And they're married to that coin, and I have no problem with investing in Ethereum. I think it's going to do really good. I really do. But also, if you look at Solana versus Bitcoin, or if you look at Solana versus Ethereum, the track record doesn't lie. Solana consistently outperforms Bitcoin and Ethereum in value, percentage gain, and growth. So just, that's just the truth. Take it if you want to, but that's just what happens. That's what we've historically seen. That's what I believe we will continue to see in the future. So yeah. What's up, everybody? Sammy Dragon. Lou, good to see you, man. Heartway Farm. Holding on to your wrapped dog. Arthur, good to see you. Ethereum is done. Vitalik doesn't care about it anymore. Zoned for Life was looking forward to this live stream. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, good to see you guys all tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Arthur, I don't believe that Ethereum is done for. Like, I do believe that Ethereum will do good this cycle. I have nothing against Ethereum. I'm not like an ETH hater or anything. I just trust the charts. If I was to invest $10,000, I'd put $10,000 in Solana before I'd put $10,000 in Ethereum. Now, do I believe Ethereum is going to do a big cycle? Absolutely. I do believe that. We have seen strength in Ethereum still versus the dollar, and it does look like a big picture continuation pattern. People are definitely panic selling down here. They see the Ethereum Bitcoin pair and they're wondering what's going to happen. But I do believe Ethereum will do good. I mean, the ETF did get approved. I don't trade news, but I do believe in catalysts. And that's definitely a positive catalyst for this market. And so, yeah, that'd be my response to that, my friend. Okay, let's see here. Good morning. We didn't get to 63K, but 65K is close enough. Yeah, so, all right, so I'll talk about that in just a second. And also, by the way, the reason I started my stream 30 minutes later today was because I'm going to go play my guitar around 12 today, and it's 10:47. I've got to practice, so it's actually going to be a bit of a shorter stream. We'll try to get as much in as we can as possible, but that's kind of why we tuned in a little bit later today. Normally, I would have told you guys, hey, this is the time we're going to tune in, but I didn't know exactly what time until today. So yeah, let's talk about Bitcoin, because you mentioned that Bitcoin, tested 65K, but that's close enough. And let me tell you what I honestly believe Bitcoin is going to do, so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm seeing in the charts here for Bitcoin. So, when it comes to Bitcoin, a lot of people, they see this pullback right here, testing major support at 65K. And when this happened, I saw a lot of people switch bearish, and I believe that they're getting a little too early on that. A lot of people believe the price is going to go down to like 60K right now, or even lower. I saw people calling for a new local low below this level down here at 50K. And what I believe is going to happen is this. So Bitcoin tested 65K right here. And what I'm kind of watching for, a lot of people heard me talk a little bit about how Bitcoin could pull back. And it did pull back a little bit, but I'm actually still not done with my view here. So let me elaborate on what I believe is going to happen. So as you can see, we have gold over here on the right, and this is gold. This is the handle. So gold made a big cup and handle. This right here is the handle of gold's cup and handle pattern. And so if we go over to, let's open another chart here real quick, actually. And you can look a little bit here on what I'm talking about. So as you can see, Bitcoin also did this big cup and handle pattern as well, right here. Huge cup pattern, and here's the handle, right? You can see the cup right here, and here's the handle. So that's a bullish continuation pattern. Well, gold also did that same cup and handle. So if we go over to gold and we look at the gold chart, like right here, we'll zoom out a little bit here just for, oops, wrong gold chart. Here we go. So you can see gold also did the same cup and handle pattern that Bitcoin did. The same exact pattern as Bitcoin. So we have this big cup right here, and then we have our handle right here as well. So here's our cup, and here's our handle. So gold did the same thing as Bitcoin, okay? Now, the reason I bring that up is because this right here is the handle of Bitcoin. So we just zoomed out on the chart, and I showed you the full cup and the handle on both gold and Bitcoin. Well, here's the handle zoomed in. Now, if we zoom in a little bit further, right here, to this little section right here, this is Bitcoin over here on the left, and this is gold over here on the right. This is the handle on gold right here. And this is what gold looked like as gold started to break out of that handle. So you've got the cup and handle pattern. Then you have, if you're just isolating the handle on the cup and handle, and you're looking at that handle only, what does it look like when we break bullish out of that handle, right? What does the market structure look like? Well, this is what gold did. Gold came up to this resistance level, the resistance of the handle pattern right here, and it pulled back a little bit, and then it just skyrocketed, right? Because it broke bullish out of that cup and handle, and it just sent prices to the moon after that. So if we look at Bitcoin over here, and now we're zoomed in on that little correction right here. Do you see this little correction right here on gold? If we zoom in on that and take a look at what that looks like, and then we zoom in on Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin hasn't broke bullish out of the cup and handle. It just formed one, right? So if we want to figure out what it could look like for Bitcoin when it does break out of this cup and handle pattern, then let's look at what happened to gold, and we can get a fairly good idea of what could happen for Bitcoin. So I believe this is what's coming for Bitcoin. So this is the rising wedge pattern that I see on Bitcoin, and this is a rising wedge pattern that happened on gold. Now, I believe Bitcoin is somewhere right here in this fractal comparison, where it just hit the bottom of a rising wedge. And what can happen here is over the next few days, price could easily shoot right up to 70K on Bitcoin and come right up to the resistance of this wedge, just like it did right here on gold, where it went up one more time to the top of this wedge. And then I would not be at all surprised to see November pull back a little bit. This doesn't have to happen. Fractals, not every single point on a fractal is going to be exactly identical. So if you see a cup and handle on gold and you see a cup and handle on Bitcoin and you see similarities between these two charts, it doesn't guarantee that every point of that fractal is going to be exactly the same. So what I believe could happen doesn't have to happen, but definitely don't be shocked if we pull back a little bit in November after going up to 70K on Bitcoin, and then we go down to 62 or 61 per Bitcoin, and then we break out and supermoon, just like what happened to gold, where it really started to take off after that. Now, why do I think this could happen? Well, we have our cup and handle pattern, and I believe that there's a lot of resistance still at the top of that handle, because you can see it in the chart. And there was a lot of resistance on gold at the top of that handle too. And that's why gold had to have one more final shakeout. Now, I'm not talking about a new low, and I do think Bitcoin could go to 70K before this happens, but it's definitely possible for Bitcoin to come back down and retest this horizontal support level right here before pushing higher, just like what happened to gold as it was preparing to fully break out of that big cup and handle pattern and start to play out. So that's one thing I'm looking at. Hopefully that clarifies your question and offers some insight and, gives you a little bit of an idea of what I believe could happen for Bitcoin. Looks like BCH is going to explode pretty soon as well. Yeah, so I think a lot of coins are going to take off. And what could happen right here, too, you guys? Every single bull market, there's a point where altcoins start to take over, where they do bigger percentage gains than Bitcoin does every time, because what happens, basically people start to gain more belief in altcoins because they see there's so much strength in the market, and they start to see some of the flaws of Bitcoin because it's not complete yet. Bitcoin still has a lot of development that needs to take place on Bitcoin. And so they start to think, oh, well, Bitcoin isn't perfect. We're clearly in a bull market. So I believe that a lot of these altcoins are going to do really good. They could even, people start to believe that they could take over Bitcoin. So what they do is they start to think in terms of risk on, right? Oh, Bitcoin's in a bull market. Coins are starting to take off. There's a lot of bullishness in the market. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of hype. And so they start funneling in their money into altcoins because they believe the percentage gain is going to be bigger. They believe it's fairly low risk since there's already a bull market going on. So every cycle, there's a point where Bitcoin dominance tops out, and it's after Bitcoin already starts rising. Like after Bitcoin starts climbing, Bitcoin breaks out first every time, every single time. But once Bitcoin breaks out, there's a point where Bitcoin, it's not like it stops going up. It still goes up significantly. But because people are thinking in terms of risk on, altcoin dominance starts increasing. People start putting money in altcoins. They start playing a little bit higher risk setups. And Bitcoin is generally viewed as low risk in comparison to altcoins. So there's a point where there's a shift that happens where money is still going into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still going up, but altcoins start moving faster. Now, when that shift happens, when that shift takes place, and Bitcoin dominance starts to decrease, the price of Bitcoin always pulls back a little bit, and altcoins kind of break out. Then they all start to go up together. So basically, there's kind of like a flip that happens where Bitcoin dominance tops out, Bitcoin pulls back a little bit, altcoins start to take off, and then they all go up together, and they all go crazy for a little bit, and then the whole market usually tops out. And so basically, what could happen here with Bitcoin, and we'll stop talking about Bitcoin in just a second because I want to cover some of your altcoins. But basically what could happen here with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin pulls back in November, like let's say Bitcoin goes up to 70K, 71, 70K, whatever, okay? If Bitcoin does end up pulling back in November and having a little bit of a retest of major support, it wouldn't surprise me to see altcoins still rally because Bitcoin dominance could flip where Bitcoin dominance isn't increasing as quickly as it is now. And then altcoins will start to increase in value during this period of time, and then everything will rise together. So that flip that happens where altcoin dominance starts increasing and Bitcoin dominance starts topping out, could cause Bitcoin to pull back a little bit while altcoins break out, and then the whole market could break out together. So that's one possibility for this correction here on Bitcoin, where we pull back a little bit, potentially pull back here in November. Either way, I believe in Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin could go really high. And I believe Bitcoin, even though altcoins are going to increase, their dominance is going to start increasing because it happens every cycle. I believe Bitcoin is going to do super good. Bitcoin is an awesome investment. You know, Bitcoin is really, really cool. Like, Bitcoin changed the world and it's still changing the world. And, you know, I believe in Bitcoin, I really do. But because I trade charts, I know that every single time that Bitcoin dominance starts topping out, you're going to have altcoin season. That just happens every single cycle. You can't get around it. Like, every single cycle, Bitcoin dominance tops out. Look at this. Here's 2017 right here, right? Once we went full force into the bull market, once the bull market went into full force, Bitcoin dominance just crashed. Now, Bitcoin during this period right here, by the way, if you don't know, Bitcoin during this period went from being worth like $3,000 or $2,000 per coin, because it just broken its old all-time high of 1,000, to 20,000 per coin. Okay? So even though altcoin season was happening, Bitcoin dominance was decreasing, but the price of Bitcoin went from like a couple $1,000s to $20,000 per coin. So as the bull market confidence increases, as the maturity of the market increases, or the maturity of the bull market increases, maybe not people's maturity, but as the maturity of the bull market, as the market matures in the bull market, then you see Bitcoin dominance crash. This happens every single time. So Bitcoin dominance crashes, the price of Bitcoin goes nuts still, but the price of altcoins goes super nuts. They go insane. You know, 50x, 25x, 30x. Bitcoin might do 10x or whatever from that point where altcoin season starts, 5x, 10x, 15x, whatever Bitcoin does, but altcoins do like 30x, 40x, and that's why the altcoin Bitcoin pairs start taking off and Bitcoin dominance decreases. Here again in 2021 during the last big bull market. Once we went full force into the bull market, look what happened to altcoins. Altcoins started taking off and Bitcoin dominance went down, even though Bitcoin went from being worth like $10,000 to 68,000 or 69 or whatever. So Bitcoin was increasing in value. Altcoins were increasing faster, but people were thinking in terms of risk on. Because again, as the bull market matures, people start to look for, where am I going to get the bigger percentage gain? Where am I going to make more money? They start to think in terms of risk on. So that's why altcoins have these big runs, even though Bitcoin is still increasing in value. It's a sign that people are confident in the bull market. That's really what altcoin season is. People are confident in crypto, so they're willing to take more risk, and they start putting more money into their altcoins. So that's the way that it works, you guys, just so you have an idea of how that works. Conscious Contact, what's up, man? Good to see you. Okay. Been set to Skyrocket. Not even going to respond to that guy. Oh my goodness. Some people. Okay, so I don't have super long, so definitely start to request your altcoins or whatever if you want. I mean, I covered Bitcoin already, so don't. If you really want to know my view on Bitcoin, go back and watch my video, because I did make a video where I publicly announced my target for Bitcoin. So yeah, go watch that video. But let's talk about your favorite altcoins, and we'll cover as much as I can here for the next, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. I got to get ready for this guitar playing thing soon. So oh man. All right, Wrapped Dog. So if somebody wants me to cover Wrapped Dog, I will happily do that. Absolutely. Okay. So Wrapped Dog is in a big falling wedge. You can see that Wrapped Dog price pulled back here a little bit, and we're in a falling wedge right now. So we pulled back here down to about 0.005. And this is really common for markets. So you can have a horizontal support level, and what can happen is you'll fall below that level and everybody will get shaken out of the market. A lot of people will get fearful. People will wonder, is the price going to recover? And that's exactly the point when it does bottom out. It's called a shakeout. So we're in a falling wedge right now. This is a bullish reversal pattern. These falling wedges are powerful. They can make you a lot of money, and they're very, very, very high probability. So just like how a rising wedge is a good way to determine a local top, a falling wedge is a good way to determine a local bottom in the market. Now, what I want to show you here with Wrapped Dog, because I've seen these cycles, a lot of people don't realize how many times these crypto cycles are perfect fractals of themselves. They just do the same things over and over, like the same market structure happens over and over again. But it is true. It's 100% true. So if you look over here on Wrapped Dog over here, and then you look at Digibyte on the right, what I want to show you here is what I'm talking about with these horizontal support levels that people expect to hold, and then they fail, and people get shaken out of the market, and then it turns around and moons. So over here on the right, we have Digibyte, and over here on the left, we have Wrapped Dog. And basically, what you want to look for here is this horizontal line right here. You can see this horizontal support level. And we failed below that level, and people panic sold. I definitely know some people panic sold. But look at all that volume. I mean, the market clearly doesn't care. You can see it in the chart. People that are selling down here are getting shaken out because the big whales are buying. You can see it in the volume. I mean, look, volume is higher than it's been right here, right here, right here. Like any of these places right here, it didn't have as much volume as what just happened right here. So clearly somebody's buying, right? People are buying. Now, this is exactly what happened to Digibyte. You can see Digibyte fell this lower support level right here, and it went down just a little bit below that level. A lot of people got shaken out, and then the market did this afterwards. Right? So that's the nature of markets. The nature of markets is that they shake people out. They create events where people get so fearful that they sell. That's exactly what I believe just happened on Wrapped Dog. We have the shakeout event, just like what happened on previous crypto cycles. I could show you many more, but Digibyte is just a good example of this, where you have this horizontal level people are expecting to hold. It drops below it, people get shaken out, and then the price moons. How many times do you think this happens to? All the time, right? This happens every day in the crypto markets. Every day this happens to people. And this is also why if you ever hear somebody say, oh, well, like if the whole market starts to get fearful and the whole market starts to say, hey, like everybody's saying, hey, price is going to go for another low. Like if everybody's saying that, the bottom is in. And that usually happens right after a big shakeout. Like here on Wrapped Dog, we failed the support level. A lot of times everybody goes, oh no, there's going to be one more lower low. I just expect one more lower low. When you start hearing people say that, buy. Like, there's almost no better advice that you could get than that. It's really true. If everybody starts saying there's one more big low coming in the markets because it dropped below a support level or whatever, everybody starts expecting one more big low. Holy cow. Most of the time the bottom is in. Most of the time. And here's a really good example of what I'm talking about here. So if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I posted about Moodang down here on my Twitter account and said, hey, you guys, you know, Moodang is on the 786. I believe we're going to have a big bullish reversal that will break out above the old all-time high and start to take off. I posted that chart right here, okay, on my Twitter. Now, everybody was expecting another big low, and a lot of people were calling it dead. A lot of people were. But look what happened to Moodang. This is what I mean by shakeouts. People get shaken out of the market. They think, oh, you know, this thing is done for. We dropped a lower support level. We fell below it. It's going to dump. But when everybody thinks the market's going to go for another low, look what happens. You know, it's just, it doesn't work like that. You can't, people get so fearful that it's going to go for another lower low that they don't buy the dip. They don't buy the dip. I mean, look at Bitcoin at 59K. Right here, when Bitcoin tested 59K, or 49K, I mean. And everybody got fearful, and everybody was calling for another low, including right here, too, when it tested 50K again. Everybody was calling for another low at both of these points. So they didn't buy the dip. They didn't buy the fear. They said, you know what, the price has dropped. It looks scary. I don't want to touch it. I'm going to lose money. And they said those things, and then guess what? They didn't make money because they were too scared to buy the dip. The same thing, I believe, is happening for Wrapped Dog right now, as we speak. And it happened on Moodang like a few days ago. So, you know, don't be that guy. Don't be afraid to buy the dip. Okay? Pretty simple. No, there's nothing crazy about it. Okay, let's see here. Cover Tau. Yep, I can cover Tau. T-A-O. Tau. Let's go to a place where we've got more data. There we go. Actually, let's get even more data than this. Mexi probably? Yeah, there we go. So, here's Tau, or BitTensor, I think is how you say it. And BitTensor is looking really good, you guys. Look at this. Were you here during the last cycle? If you weren't here during the last cycle, then you don't know what's happening. If you were here, then you might have forgotten, in which case I believe it's my duty to show you the truth. Okay? And the truth is pretty simple. Truth is never complicated. Truth is always very simple. It's only people that are really, caught up in all these crazy ideas that start to believe that truth is some complicated thing. The truth is always simple. And what I believe is happening here whoa, where did I lose my chart here? What the heck happened? Oh, there we go. Huh. That's crazy. Just a second, you guys. I have to find the chart here. Okay. Invert Solana dollar, and we'll go to the one week time frame. Okay, we'll go back here and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so here's Solana in the last cycle. You should study these cycles because these cycles are going to teach you about the way markets move. Because markets are consistent. I can show you stocks that look exactly like Solana. I can show you cryptos that look exactly like gold. Why? Because human emotion happens on both charts. And I believe that with all of my heart. I've seen it over and over and over again. So if you look at this here on Solana, and then you come over here to BitTensor, this early day cycle on Solana, let's zoom out and then zoom in just a little bit here, change time frame. This early day cycle on Solana, where Solana did this little pump right here, it pulled back, it went up to $4, then it pulled back down to about $1.19. This right here was the first bullish impulse in Solana's cycle. So the way that this works, the way markets move, they have a market cycle, they pull back, they have another impulse wave that takes it even higher, right? So long as there's demand for it. They have another impulse wave that takes it higher, they pull back, then they have another impulse wave that takes it even higher. So the market is moving in cycles and legs. Has a market cycle, a new leg up, another market cycle, a new leg up. It's constantly pumping, pulling back, building momentum, breaking out, getting overbought, pulling back, building momentum, breaking out. That is what markets do. That's the way markets move. Now, if you look at Solana here, this was the first market cycle, the first impulse wave, the first pump inside of its market, inside of its new market cycle, its bigger picture cycle. So you can see we push up here, we pull back, and then look what happens. We build momentum and we break out. Look at BitTensor right now. BitTensor is so early in its cycle, people don't even realize what's happening. I can tell you with a high degree of confidence that people don't realize what's happening. They don't realize that BitTensor can do that exact thing that I just showed you, where you break out, you pull back because you're overbought, you build momentum up, you break out again, you pull back because you're overbought, and then you break out again, right? That's why we get Elliott waves too. That's why we get Elliott waves, because that's the way, that's the psychology of the market. You have wave 1, wave 2, you break out, it gets overbought because you just broke an old level, an old peak. There's a bunch of FOMO, all the people that are FOMO buying buy the top. It's overbought in the short term, so it has to pull back. And then it's oversold because it's on a major support level, and then it breaks out again, and then you have a big bear market. That is why the market moves like this. It's because of human psychology. People get too excited, too fearful, so they buy tops and sell bottoms, and it creates this big pattern where the market breaks out, pulls back, breaks out, pulls back to support, breaks out, and then has a big correction. Okay, pretty simple, right? Easy to understand, super powerful, really important to understand in your trading and your investing. So what am I saying? I'm saying that BitTensor has a long way to go. That this is wave one. This is the first impulse wave, the first little cycle that's part of a bigger expansion, a bigger bull market coming for BitTensor, where we could go to who knows exactly how high before it tops out. And you can use Fibonacci extensions to measure targets. You can measure from the bottom of wave 0 to the top of wave 1, down to the bottom of wave 2. And we know that wave 3 has to at least stop between the 1618 or the 2618. It can go higher, but those are our minimum targets for wave 3. Right? So we can even measure targets with this based on Fibonacci extensions. And Fibonacci is a really, really powerful number sequence that was invented by a guy named Fibonacci, and it's self-consistent throughout all of nature. You can go look at a tree, and the number of branches on a tree branch out in Fibonacci numbers. So it's this universal mathematical principle that's also found inside of these markets. That's why we can find targets based on Fibonacci levels and say, look, wave 3 has a high likelihood of stopping between the 1618 Fibonacci and the 2618 Fibonacci, because that mathematical sequence is found, it's universal throughout all of life, everywhere, and it doesn't matter what you're looking at. And if you don't know, one of the reasons I was able to say Mudang is going to turn around here is because of the 786 Fibonacci level right here. That's the 786. Look, it came right down to that level. I made a video about this a while back, talking about how I made $56,000 on one of my trades in 2017 on a single trade. And I showed you guys how that 786 level is where big players buy. That's where the big banks and the big players buy. They buy at that 786 level. Sometimes the 6182, you can get reversals there as well. But that 786 level is a Fibonacci level that where a lot of people buy. So that Fibonacci relationship is found all around. I mean, look at this. Let's go from the swing high to the swing low. We'll add the 786 onto this fib retracement tool, and then look what happened. Solana came up here, pulled back down to the 786, and then mooned. Right? So there's Fibonacci relationships between these Elliott waves, these cycles that I'm drawing, that I'm showing you on the chart. So do I think BitTensor has more to go? Yeah, I do. The minimum target for wave 3 is like the 2618. Or, well, technically the 1618, but it's between the 1618 and the 2618 is your minimum target for BitTensor. It could go higher. Wave 3 can extend to whatever Fibonacci level it wants to if people FOMO buy. But you have a minimum target between this range of the 1618 and the 2618, because that's where it commonly stops. So hopefully you guys are learning some stuff here. Monroe, good to see you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Do you have a Lego guy as your username or as your channel profile picture? Looks like you might have a Lego guy. That is awesome. What's everyone's thoughts on the future of the gold market? Are we going to go to 3K or higher, or are we going back down to support? Lego Obi-Wan? Nice, man. Star Wars is awesome. And Lego is cool too. I used to build Legos like all the time when I was younger. We just had a big box of them. Sometimes I'd buy like the boxes of like pre-made Lego sets, but also we just had this big wooden box just full of a bunch of different Legos growing up. And I'd go in there and I'd just grab a bunch of Legos and build like spaceships and cars and all kinds of stuff with Legos. So that's awesome, man. Okay, cool. And I love Star Wars too, right? Only different in your mind, as Yoda says. Okay, cool. So gold can hit $100K to $150,000 per ounce. Okay, man. I mean, I guess it's possible long term, but I don't know if I could see it this cycle. But to answer Mr. Wizard's question on what I think gold could do, I'll just quickly show you what I think gold could do. All right, so we've been learning a little bit about Elliott wave theory, about the way markets move, about market structure, about all that good stuff, right? So let's talk a little bit about what's happening on gold. We've also been learning about how all markets are self-consistent and that all of this stuff works on every market. So the way commodities markets work, commodities markets are very unique. So let's just first we'll do an Elliott wave count, okay? So from an Elliott wave perspective, we have wave 1 right here, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we're in wave 5 on gold. Now, a lot of times people would think, oh, well, it's just going to top out now. You know, we're in wave 5, right? It's going to top out any minute. But the way that commodities markets work, commodities markets have extended fifth waves. So you can go to the Elliott wave principle tool page on Wikipedia or buy a book about Elliott waves or whatever. But you'll learn pretty quickly that commodities markets have extended fifth waves. And by the way, crypto is the same way. Have you ever wondered why at the end of a crypto cycle, there's always this huge pump and then everything crashes like crazy? Like, why is the end so vertical, right? Why does it have such a big impulse? Well, the way this works is commodities markets and crypto markets both have extended fifth waves. So gold is a commodities markets, right? Like oil, silver, wheat, right? Commodities. They have extended fifth waves. So the fifth wave ends up being bigger than wave 1 or wave 3. So the way this works for gold, we're not just going to have a fifth wave right here and dump. What we're going to have, because commodities markets do extended fifth waves, we're going to have an extended fifth wave on gold. And my personal target for gold is right around $5,000 per ounce. I really believe it could get that high. And I could be, I could be wrong. It could go to 7, right? Extended fifth waves get super parabolic. But I think around 5K per ounce is fair. Now, that's just in this cycle. My friend in there said gold could go to 150K per ounce. Maybe someday. I don't know how in the future you're talking. But in this cycle, I do think gold could go to 5,000. So, Mr. Professor K, when you said gold could hit 100K to 150K per ounce, it's not impossible long term. Especially if the value of the dollar keeps decreasing, right? Because then 150K per ounce isn't going to be as much as what it would be now. And if there's anything that we all know is that the value of the dollar isn't going to go up, right? So it's definitely possible. But in this cycle, my personal target is 5K per ounce of gold. So hopefully that answers both of your questions about gold there. Okay, cool. I've got just like a minute longer and then I probably better go soon because I got to make sure I'm on time to go play my guitar for... You know what's crazy? This local store wants me to play Christmas music in October. But apparently they have some guy coming out that's like a famous musician or something. And I'm pretty sure the only time he could come out was right now. So they're doing like a Christmas sale in October. And they want some other local people to play music there. And so I'm going to play Christmas music in October before Halloween today. So what a day to be alive, right? Oh, goodness. Gold and silver just getting started. I agree. The Matrix Breaker. And by the way, Silver is just barely getting started. Like, and that's a really cool username too, Dematrix Breaker. That is dope. So silver, like silver really is just getting started. I mean, if you want to talk about a big reversal, look at this cup and handle. Like, holy cow, right? I'd probably even be more bullish on silver than gold in terms of percentage, like return on an investment. You're going to get a bigger return on investment with silver than you would gold. They're both going to go up, I really believe that, but I also believe silver will give you a bigger percentage gain than gold will. So look at that cup and handle. Wait till we break above this resistance. That's going to be crazy. That's a huge cup and handle on silver. I'm glad you guys are bringing up silver and gold, because some people like that are crypto people don't believe in those types of things. But if you're a real crypto person, I believe that you should be in crypto and silver. Okay? Like you should be in crypto, silver. Why? Because both of them are actually way better investments than a lot of different things in the world. I believe silver is one of the best investments you can have. Don't try to leverage trade crypto unless you know exactly what you're doing. Don't try to leverage trade silver or gold unless you know exactly what you're doing. But if you're accumulating silver bullions, right? If you're accumulating silver or gold, like physically, that's really where the power of investing in this is, right? One of the awesome things about silver or gold is if you're somewhere and there's a hurricane and you can't access the internet, or there's an earthquake and your internet goes out or your power goes out, you have silver and gold. Like you can still transact with people. Now, I'm a crypto guy. I believe in crypto, but I believe that you should have both in your portfolio because both are going to help you in different types of situations. So it's just something to think about, right? Cool thing about crypto is the entire world power grid could shut off. And because some people still have the blockchain saved, everybody could just turn their computers back on and start running their Bitcoin nodes again or their Doge nodes or whatever, and crypto would be back online, right? But the cool thing about silver is if there wasn't power, you can still transact with it, or gold. So silver, gold, crypto, and AI. Yeah, those are all really good spaces to be investing in. I wear my silver. I wear my gold sometimes, right? I don't like to be flashy very often, but sometimes I wear a gold ring, I haven't seen your EOS analysis in a while. Okay, I'll do EOS. I haven't done EOS in ages, like a long time, so I'll do EOS for you. And then I probably better go, you guys. I don't want to be late to my thing. I practice my songs before I go, and yeah. So let's talk about EOS. And if any of you guys need to get a hold of me personally and talk to me personally, make sure you shoot me an email, highaltitudeinvesting@gmail.com. I love to talk with you guys. I get emails from people asking questions. I love to talk with you. You guys are awesome. It's super fun to hear from my viewers and to offer insight or even just, thank you guys for your kind words, because I get people thanking me in email. So if you want to talk to me personally, shoot out an email and we can talk over email. And I'd love to talk with you guys too. But I got to go soon. So we'll just do this one last coin for the day. All right. So EOS has struggled a little bit. I mean, it's just struggled to break out. It's struggled to find support. It's just struggled. Like there's no other way to cut it. Right? And I honestly don't know. I'll completely admit my ignorance as to whether this coin is still being developed. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if they're still developing this coin, if there's still a team around it. Those are important things. Coins can still pump even if they don't have a team, just because people get excited, right? People trade based on emotion. It can still pump, but I just don't know how much development and stuff is happening on EOS. So I'll just admit my honest ignorance on that first. But second of all, I do know trading patterns, and this is a big wedge. And that's technically a bullish pattern to have a big falling wedge like this. And people see decreasing volume as a bad thing, but actually decreasing volume and decreasing price is bullish. If you go look at the volume rules for analysis, which is right here, let me pull it up real quick. As you can see, the volume rules for analysis states that if volume is declining and if price is declining and volume is declining, the market is strong. So that actually shows that there's accumulation taking place. And I mean, even look at Mudang here, right? Price went down and volume went down. Like, what? Wait, what? Right? People are like, wait a minute, what? Why is that happening? Or at least that was my first response when I learned this. When I was learning about trading and I found out that when volume and price decreases together, it's bullish, I was like, what? How does that make any sense at all? Well, the way it makes sense is that once you start to turn around and you see volume increase, that's even more bullish, right? So decreasing volume, decreasing price is bullish because it shows accumulation. All the retail money FOMO bought up here, and all the big whales are slowly buying as price goes down. They're just accumulating. So when price and volume goes down, that's actually bullish. So do I think EOS could reverse here? Yes, I do. Do I know anything about whether the team is still developing and those factors that if you're investing in this coin, you should do your own research on? No, I haven't looked at that in a while, and I don't know. You'd want to do that for yourself. If there's still a team, if you still believe in it, this is a falling wedge. There is decreasing volume. It definitely can reverse here. A lot of coins are in big accumulation patterns where they've done this for multiple years like that. And if you've been around crypto for long enough, you know exactly what that leads to, which is a huge bullish breakout because it shows big picture accumulation. So that would be my update on EOS, right? I don't know a lot about the development or anything like that. But do your research, you guys. You can't get into this stuff and just, don't do any research. If you're investing in a coin, make sure you understand the implications of that. Like Mudang, I had a good feeling about Mudang for a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons is the community, but also the volume was just insane, right? The total trading volume across this whole period was so high. And look what happened when it got added to Binance. Crazy, right? 68 million Mudang being traded right there. Like, holy cow, that's crazy. So I had some information about the community. I also knew we were on the 786 level. So that's why I made this tweet right here letting everybody know, hey, it's a good time to buy Mudang. I really believe it's going to turn around. I think we're going to have a big bullish reversal. And then this happened, right? I didn't even know about the Binance adding it. I had no idea about that. I didn't know until after it happened. I didn't have any insider information or anything like that. Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you. I hope you learned something today. Taught a little bit about market cycles, a little bit about why markets pump and pull back, why the 786 level and other Fibonacci levels are so powerful. I didn't get to talk about XRP. I know that was requested. Go watch my most recent video about it. I'm bullish on XRP. I'm really bullish on the whole market, which I'm a technical analyst. And so when I get people from different communities coming in that really believe in their projects, a lot of people are pinned against their other communities. So they hear me say, oh, I'm bullish on XRP. But then they're like, well, I believe in this coin. So I really because I believe in technical analysis as a way to make money, as a way to play these markets, a lot of times I'm misunderstood by people, which is totally cool. I don't even care. But that's why people say, oh, well, you know, why are you bullish on XRP? Why are you bullish on Bitcoin Cash? Why are you bullish on all of these different coins? Why are you bullish on Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash? Like, who are you, right? Well, I look at the charts. I believe technical analysis is a powerful way to play these markets, to make money in crypto. It does take time to learn, and it's not something you're going to learn overnight, but the fruits of learning it is life-changing. I've seen it change people's lives. I've seen it change my life. I know what it can do for you. You know, I've seen people make millions. People that I taught how to do this make millions of dollars using technical analysis. So that's why I'm bullish on so many different coins. You know, I'm bullish on Solana and Ethereum. What? But I'm more bullish on Solana than Ethereum. Why? Because of the chart, right? The chart, Solana consistently outperforms Ethereum. So of course I'm going to be more bullish on it. So anyways, that's kind of my spiel for that. Hey, thank you, man. God bless you too. I appreciate you tuning in, Peter. And yeah, I love you guys. You guys have an awesome week. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream. As always, stay profitable out there.